We're A-Game, a 100% Black-owned company with an all-natural product and world-class customer service. We're headquartered in California, and we manufacture, package, and ship right here in the United States. We ship to more than 125 distributors worldwide. Normal processing is 2 to 3 days, and we employ virtual tracking until our product is received. So, no matter where you are in the world, here we come, and we're bringing your A-game.
Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hello, everyone. So I'm seeing that you guys weren't able to hear the intro music. I think I know what's going on with that. I'll fix it. Because I really want to just have a smoothly running show in terms of audio and video. And these little small hiccups, yeah. Not really feeling the hiccups too much, but we won't focus on them because we got bigger fish to fry. I know my audio when I'm talking sounds good. I was referring to the intro music. I don't think you guys could hear that. Unless you could, and I'm wrong about it. Walaikum assalam, Matrix, Coffee and Blunt. If I'm wrong about it, then hey, I'm happy to be wrong. Thank you, MS Delta. Says, sister, keep preaching, keep teaching, keep preaching. Thank you so much. Yeah, I didn't think y'all could hear the intro music. Now, yesterday you could hear the intro music. Is that so? Could y'all hear the intro music yesterday? Because when I think I played back yesterday's live stream and I think I heard it. So I'm trying to figure out what's the difference. Because when I set settings, I don't change settings. When it comes to OBS and all, I don't tinker. I tinker well enough to get it to do what I want it to do, and then I leave it. I'm not a tinkerer when it comes to OBS and all that kind of stuff. So y'all were muted yesterday. You couldn't hear the intro music yesterday. Put a 1 in the chat if yesterday's intro music was muted for you. So I may need to make a small tweak. Okay, it was muted for y'all. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Okay, because now there are 2 interfaces. I was using Soundflower because I had a Mac. So I was using Soundflower as an interface, which was working just fine. But this microphone is an analog, so I needed to use the Focusrite to interface the microphone with the computer, right? So I had to switch it off from Soundflower to Scarlett so that OBS can pick it up. So it picks up my voice just fine. It picks up the commercials just fine because they're loaded on. But the intro music is a little bit different. You did get the A-game. So we're definitely looking on the bright side. I just want to make sure that you guys have the full experience every time. No glitches, no hiccups. Okay. We fix it. Inshallah. No problems. Thank you guys for letting me know. So that means I'm going to have to do another test run this evening for audio. Ooh. Because I'm not willing to wait until tomorrow to face the same issue. But aside from that, I want to thank everybody for coming through. I want to thank everybody for hitting the like button, because we are going to get started today. The thing that I want to talk about today is we're going to talk about Black female leadership and its destruction of the Black community. And specifically, I am speaking about Black Lives Matter. I am speaking about Stacy Abrams. And I'm speaking about the Goldman Sachs $10 billion that they pledged to Black women over a 10-year period. I'm talking about those three things in particular. Because we can't get off of these hyenas' necks, y'all. And I don't intend to. And I also intend to do more than just sit on the internet and be mad at it. Because it takes more than to just be mad at Black Lives Matter being a scam. Because what we have to do is we have to, listen to me. We got to realize what they're doing to us. What they're doing to us. These corporations funded that 90 million plus. Okay, first of all, it was more than $90 million. That was the 90 million reported after a year. They received, Black Lives Matter has been in an organization more than a year. That's 90 million plus. Okay? George Soros gave, and then all of these big, large corporations during 2020, I do believe, when George Floyd was killed, that's when all of those protests were happening all over. Do you remember that? It was a big thing. Everybody should remember. It just happened 2 years ago. And then all of these corporations, in order to show their so-called solidarity with Black people, began to send large donations to Black Lives Matter. Correct? This is the money we talking about. Once those Amazon, a whole bunch of other ones have proceeds that go to Black Lives Matter. I just made an e.l.f. order, eyes, lips, face, because I'm trying to get better with my makeup. Y'all know I don't really know how to put on my makeup all that good. It's not my forte, but I used to know how. And so now I'm trying to get back into the groove. So I'm experimenting with other makeup, and I remember liking e.l.f. Thank you, Bryant Mays. I remember liking e.l.f. So I made an e.l.f. order, and on that order, they ask about proceeds going to Black Lives Matter. You know I unchecked that box. I'm not sending nothing over there. But it's companies like that. e.l.f. is a large company that have proceeds or have made outright donations to Black Lives Matter organization. What changed? What did Black Lives Matter do for Black communities all over the United States after getting those resources? See, we not letting this go. Black men needed to be Black heterosexual men. Yes, I'm making a distinction. Black heterosexual men needed to be in control of the mobility, since mobility is being handed out. right? And they would never do that, give black men this money from Goldman Sachs. Or if Black Lives Matter had been headed by heterosexual black men, they wouldn't have got those donations like that. They would have been a struggling organization that's still running off the hashtag, that's got to beg people, the regular Joe Schmo, working Joe, for donation money, and it would never have gotten off of the ground. George Soros would never have put any funding behind that. Amazon would never have put any funding behind that. None of these large corporations would ever have put any of the funding behind Black Lives Matter had it been headed by heterosexual black men. Thank you, Miss Lou Casey. Say, you're beautiful as you are. You do not need to wear much makeup. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you, Too Tall. See, this is what we got to understand. And the reason why they would never do that is because black men specifically, regardless of what this country does for other demographics of men, regardless of what it does for immigrant men or for illegals, as we call them, or people crossing the border, whatever the case may be, whatever this country does for those men, they will not do with black men. And the reason that they won't do that with black men is because if you give mobility, or you allow, or you move out of the way for black men to create their own mobility for themselves and for the black community, that's two problems. First of all, he will do it for the community, not just for himself. Black female leadership is selfish, just like the hyenas that take those positions. Thank you, Clarence, said Brother Malcolm warned black people about the white liberal over 60 years ago. Yes, and we are dying because of it. We are dying because of it. We are doomed because of it. Because we did not listen, because black women didn't listen, because at some point the baton was handed to black women to lead the community, and we have been led astray. Thank you, D. Carries. Which is why I titled today's show what I titled it. Black female leadership destroys the black community. Because any female leadership will destroy its community. And they give mobility to black women for that purpose, because they know she gonna be selfish. They know she not gonna uplift everybody else. They know that. They know that. They know she's gonna run roughshod over the men, and more importantly, she's gonna run roughshod over the children, because those are the actual victims in all of this. But that may be a subject for another show. Thank you, JJ. Say not all, but the Black Lives Matter do not represent foundational black American sisters. Those are part of the non-FBA tether segment that are scammers. Not all. And you know what? Let me speak to that a little bit, because I see that sometimes making the differentiation between non-FBA or non-ADOS and ADOS black people when something is being done. At this point, there is no distinction. I don't care where they come from. And this isn't pointed at you, JJ, but I'm just saying in general. I don't care where these people come from. I don't care where their family came from. I don't care where none of that, where they lineage hail from. And the reason why I don't care about that is because FBA and ADOS black women are infected with this same thing. We are not exempt. So whether it was non-FBA or whether it was FBA black women, it would be the same situation. Thank you, KIK. Same situation. Black women who were born and raised here, who mama was born and raised here, are just as damaged, if not more so, than black women across the diaspora. Because sometimes I see that. Thank you, Denise. Sometimes I see that. There was a post I did on Twitter. I'm not gonna spin off too long. There's a post that I reposted on Twitter. It was something that Tariq had posted, and it was these chicks lined up wherever they was lined up for a bad B contest. Y'all should have seen it. It was the most deplorable thing in the world. And some people in his comments was like, these must be non-FBA. If y'all don't knock it off. The black women you grew up around is crazy. They're crazy. A vast majority of them. So let's not, please, let's not. And again, this isn't direct. I'm not directing this at anyone in particular, especially not any of my supporters. I'm really not. I'm not angry or upset. It's just that we got to stop doing that. We really got to stop doing that. FBA is Foundational Black Americans. ADOS stands for American Descendants of Slaves. So, in other words, black people who have a lineage in America that don't come from other parts of the African diaspora. So anyway, getting off of that little point, I just needed to say that little piece. Thank you again, JJ. Said we have to make a distinction as the bad non-FBA segment will try to dump their nonsense from their society on us like Nathan does on the Peef Network when he said we have a 70% paternity fraud. And I get it. In some instances, that may be something that you need to do to create the distinction. But sometimes we don't need to create that distinction. But to each his own. But let's get back to Black Lives Matter. Okay? The other reason you can't give heterosexual black men any mobility or move out of the way so that black men can create their own is because black men creating their own mobility and lifting their community out of problems and out of the mindset that we are mired in removes black people from the permanent underclass. Do you understand what I'm saying? It removes black people from the permanent underclass, which in turn destroys the American nightmare. It destroys this. It destroys the lost value system. If black men, see, this is why Goldman Sachs didn't pledge $10 billion to black men. Because you can't have black men getting any type of real mobility or traction as a group. Individually, they don't care. But as a group, it's problematic. Because if black men move as a group, as the leaders of the black community and not black women, that removes us in a couple of generations out of the permanent underclass, the permanent slave class. Because as of right now, black people are still the permanent slave class, which they're replacing us, by the way. Do we understand that? Put a 2 in the chat if you understand that we are about to be replaced as the slave class. Who they gonna replace us with? All of the illegal, so-called illegal immigrants. All of that, because we're dying. We're finally doomed and dying. So they need a new permanent underclass. And there's no better way to rope a group in than to start giving them benefits. Start allowing illegal aliens that cross the Mexican border into the United States. Don't kick them out. Give them support. Open the border. This is why they was mad at Trump when he was talking about build a wall and we gonna have and Trump was right. You can say what you wanna, but he was right about that. Thank you, Ismail. Say you look beautiful today as you usually do. Thank you. He was right about that. Now people said, building a physical wall was stupid or whatever, and maybe it was and maybe it wasn't. But his concept that America should not have open borders like every other country that's sovereign doesn't have just open borders. What was wrong with that? What was wrong with that? The United States of America is a sovereign country. And there are rules and regulations that you need to go by entering any country. You can't just come over there and start living without no paperwork and without telling nobody nothing. You even need a passport to get out of one country to go to another country in the first place, whether you going to live there or not. There are visas you got to sign up for. There's all kinds of legal paperwork that you got to do if you plan on doing something more than vacationing for a week or two in a different country. If you're going to stay there for a year, 6 months, yada, 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 you want to work, then you have to sign up for the various different kinds of visas that are going to allow you to legally be in that country to do whatever it is that you were trying to do in that country. And America should be no different. And they exercise that strict visa law arbitrarily. They don't do it with Mexicans that come over the border. And I ain't got no problem with Mexicans, but just because they border the United States to the south doesn't mean that they get to come over to the United States willy-nilly. In that case, Canadians should be able to come through. They border us to the north. So I'm saying all of this to make black people understand that we're on our way out. And this system knows it. They've done enough. They have warped through black women. Thank you, Black Thoughts. Through the warping of black women culturally and the warping and stripping of her identity and the separation from black women and black men, separating them in her mind, that has killed us. We're done. We got black women standing in the middle of the street in different protests, hollering to the top of their lungs about abortion rights to delete generations of black kids in utero. The most dangerous place for a black child to be is in the womb of its mother. And don't nobody see no problem with that. Oh, we just talking about women's rights to their bodies. No, you're not. No, you're not. That's just the convenient little script that we're supposed to be rallying behind. Oh, women in their bodies. This country ain't never cared about black women in their bodies. Remember, they used to have your ancestors, your female ancestors, your foremothers on operating tables without no anesthesia, cutting them open, talking about black women don't feel no pain. They ain't never cared about your rights as a black woman. The whole medical system as it exists today is racially biased and based on the Flexner report, which I still have to get into and sink our teeth into so y'all can understand the racial bias that is inherent in the American medical system. and you think that abortion is part of health care when it is a eugenics program and we've been proved it, and you still stupid. And they put all that birth control out on the market. Now you will sit there and argue, black women kill me. I'm gonna rant for a second. Y'all will sit there and argue about the negative aspects and physical aspects of birth control that it has on your body, but don't nobody talk about the negative effects that going in a Planned Parenthood and having them scrape out a kid has on your reproductive system. You make that make sense to me. And while you working on whether that makes sense, you can boop, 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 take a few boops to the head for how stupid it is. So an IUD, a pill, or a shot got you shook, but headed into a Planned Parenthood, you will stand there and dance as they scrape it out of you. And that don't have a negative medical effect. You better knock it off. Thank you, Miss Lou Casey. Said black women have been used all along to market and be the buyers of such nefarious concepts, and here we are now. Sanger used the church to market the baby deletions. Exactly. Thank you, PCS. So black male upward mobility creates competition, and they do not want that. Thank you so much. And thank you, T-Cal. Said God is exposing these trifling hyenas for the world to see. Sad they can't see it. Yeah. And the longer black women can't see it, the more doomed we are. It just is what it is. It just is what it is. But what I'm going to do is I am going to head over to a commercial break, and then we are going to be back. Right back.
Hey guys, this is Spanky Hayes, and I want to say something, whether it's comedy, acting, or just in general real life. I use my A game. I gotta have the A game. I pack it in every pocket. I got one pill in every pocket and every pair of pants I got. Listen, entertaining y'all is hard sometimes. I gotta fly to Dallas, then to Denver, then to New York, then to LA, then to Detroit. Come on, man. That tires me out. I just take the A game now. I don't have that problem no more. I usually barely don't sleep because I'm entertaining y'all. I'm in the studio all night with the A game. And trust me, when I come home from the studio, my woman gets to feel the real pleasure of the A game. You see, I'm smiling. Watch this. Hey, baby.
Hey, babe.
Guess what I just took?
What?
A game, A game, A game, A game. I'm gonna meet you upstairs, all right?
Oh, okay.
All right, we are back, and that is one of my favorites. And y'all quit talking about Ja Rule. That man is not Ja Rule. Y'all wrong for that. Y'all leave Spanky alone. He is not Ja Rule, y'all. But here's the thing. I'm going to read a real quick article about Miss Patrisse Cullors. Let me share my screen. BLM co-founder denies misusing donations to fund lavish lifestyle. Now, I want y'all to listen real carefully. This article is pretty quick. BLM co-founder and former head of the charity arm BLMGNF, Patrisse Cullors, recently denied accusations that she or any of her colleagues misused organization funds. Cullors told the AP that building the organization involved a lot of trial and error, and that it was overwhelmed by the outpouring of support and sudden growth, especially when it came to the flood of donations around the 2020 summer racial justice riots after the murder of George Floyd. Now, that part I can believe. It probably was rather overwhelming. When you get a windfall of a lot of money, not just a couple of $1,000s, but millions of dollars, and you've never handled money like that, that part can be true. Getting overwhelmed and making mistakes. But buying them mansions ain't no mistake. On paper, it looks crazy. Yeah, we know. We use this term in our movement a lot, which is we're building a plane while flying it. I don't believe in that anymore. The only regret I have with BLM is wishing that we could have paused for 1 to 2 years to just not do any work and just focus on the infrastructure. So why didn't you do it? You knew you were getting overwhelmed. So why didn't you pause and say, you know what? We've got to work on the inside, build our infrastructure, have transparency when you do that, and then come back with those resources to do what you need to do for the community. But you didn't do that. Anyway, BLM was hit with intense backlash this year after it was uncovered that the BLM GNF funneled $6 million to a nonprofit founded by Con Color's wife. So you were overwhelmed, but you had sense enough to have your woman found a nonprofit and then buy a 10,000 square foot mansion in Toronto with 6 bedrooms and bathrooms, a swimming pool, and other expensive amenities. So you was overwhelmed. You didn't understand what was going on, but you did have enough wherewithal. Somebody put something in your ear to say, you got to start doing something with this money. You got to start shielding this money. Anyway, the compound was supposedly dedicated as a trans feminist, whatever the heck that is, queer affirming space, politically aligned with supporting Black liberation work across Canada. So as we can see, the complete alienation of heterosexual Black men and women. For Black creators to produce new projects. So you took money that was garnered under the guise of Black Lives Matter, Black men being killed in these police shootings. That's how it started. And then y'all just smooth transitioned it to a rainbow organization that didn't have nothing to do with straight Black men or Black women. I'm going to continue. Colors denied that the charity committed any wrongdoing with the purchase, telling AP we really wanted to make sure that the GNF had an asset that wasn't just financial resources. And we understood that not many Black-led organizations have property. They don't own their property. Nice try, Patrice. Mixing a truth with a lie. Should a foundation or organization have its assets that help to put its work forward? Yes. Was that mansion in Canada that asset? No. A self-proclaimed Marxist, surprise, surprise, we covered that already. Colors also bought at least 4 houses for a total of around $3.2 million. She resigned as the group's executive director shortly after the New York Post reported on the acquisitions in April of 2021. So you got your butt out of there. You wasn't so overwhelmed as to not know to get your butt up out that seat before the hammer dropped. She dismissed the allegation that she stole from BLM or abused her position within the organization for personal financial gain. Right. The idea that the foundation received millions of dollars and then I hid those dollars in my bank account is absolutely false. Nice turn of words. Did nobody say you put it in a personal banking account? Fool. And see, all us ain't stupid. You shielded it. You put it under other nonprofit organization names. You created other corporations, this, that, and the third, to stash the money. Of course you didn't put it in your own stupid personal bank account. That's too easy. But you overwhelmed and didn't know what to do. Somebody told you what to do. That's a false narrative. It's impacted me personally. Oh, I did it now. And professionally, that people would accuse me of stealing from Black people, but that's exactly what you did. When the foundation announced it raised $90 million last year, many supporters suspected funny business and demanded transparency and accountability as to where the money would be directed in a reaction that took colors by surprise. So I'm going to tell you why she was surprised. I thought practicing radical transparency with black people would have been received well. So now she blaming black people. She blaming us for calling it out. She thought radical transparency would be received well. You know, I thought y'all would be satisfied with what little I showed y'all, you idiots. Why wasn't you satisfied with that? That's what she's saying. What was unhelpful about releasing it was not getting enough people allying with us about it. We weren't the only organization to receive millions of dollars, but we ain't talking about every other organization. We talking about you. Boop. We talking about you. We ain't talking about every other organization in the world. Why black women kill me with that? Why would we be talking about everybody else? We talking about what you doing. We ain't talking about what everybody else doing. It's a cajillion other charitable organizations that rake in hundreds of millions of dollars a year. We ain't talking about them. We talking about you. Thank you, Grease Man said, elders told me the government purposely sterilized black women in the 60s and 70s. No coincidence, clinics are in our community. Don't support this crap. Black women is genocide. Yeah, it is. Thank you, Marquise. So instead of using that money to cultivate lawyers to prosecute these race soldiers or buy politicians to implement laws to punish them, you waste it to flex on your community. Disgusting. Exactly. Thank you, Sigma. So Isaiah 9:16-17 also says why women shouldn't lead men. That's why I gave y'all a rough translation of what she's talking about. That's why I translated it for you. See, here's the deal. Patrice's issue, along with her cohorts, because it wasn't just her, it was all of them, is the same issue that most broke people run into when they get a windfall of money. It's the same mistake a lot of these little mega church preachers be having and all of that type of stuff. You start something and you really kind of half expect it to work. And then what happens is money starts coming to you. A windfall of money start coming to you. You ain't never handled hundreds of thousands of dollars at one time, let alone millions of dollars at one time. So what you do is your eyes get big as saucers and you get dollar signs in them. And you start looking at the money that's coming in as your money, rather than looking at that money as the organization's money that needs to be appropriated properly so that the organization can fulfill whatever it was created to fulfill. So what you start doing is, this millions of dollars. I need to be able to get this money going and put it in my pocket. I can't let this money go. And see, here's the problem. In those organizations, those non-for-profits, the founders and the workers in that organization do get money. They do. They get money. You're supposed to get money. Because the premise and the concept is that the activism that you are doing is taking up so much of your time that you don't really have time for an external 9-to-5. So you're paid through the organization. It ain't no problem with that. That's not the problem. You're supposed to get a salary for it. So you're supposed to get money for it. It's one reason why people start them. Yeah, you got true intentions, but you also see the dollar sign. Okay. So without the time to dedicate to the organization itself, you get that stipend or that salary. The trick is to understand that not all of those funds that you acquire can be funneled through you. You got to actually use the vast majority of it for what you said you was going to use it for. That's what you got to do. And she didn't do that. See, if Black Lives Matter had actually appropriated that money to the families of the victims in a substantial way, black people wouldn't have questioned it. We would have been like, oh, okay, they giving the money the way that they supposed to. Oh, okay, they doing what they said they was gonna do with the money. Had Black Lives Matter not radically changed its mission statement to exclude heterosexual black men and women, but black men specifically, they specifically said that heterosexual black men did not have any say-so or any part of any of the administrative activities of the organization, despite the fact that it was built on the dead backs of black heterosexual men. Complete alienation. See, had they not done that, we wouldn't have questioned it. Why would we have questioned it? Because black people be looking for saviors to come from among us. We be looking for that. Things we can get behind that seem legit that we could actually do. And the other thing that they did, had Black Lives Matter bothered to keep up any pretense at all of being about what they said they was gonna be about, black people wouldn't have questioned it. We'd have just thought, well, they doing what they said they was gonna do. That's what we'd have thought. But see, the problem is they figure black folks is stupid. Black women do things in front of the black community blatantly and then think we too stupid to actually see and point out with accuracy what they doing and why they're doing it. Right? So they thought black people are stupid and they won't be able to catch on with what we did. That's why she said, we thought radical transparency would be okay with black people. But you wasn't radically transparent, were you? You was opaque like a big dog. You was opaque, baby. Okay? You was blackout curtain opaque. Wasn't nothing transparent about that. Because if it was transparent, nobody would be questioning you. And so the other thing that they did is they thought that Zaddy wouldn't question them about it because Zaddy gave us most of the money. So we'll be able to flaunt what we're doing in a very outward way and nobody's going to say anything. We're going to be blatant about it. And nobody going to say nothing. Ha 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 ha. We can just buy, mansions all over the United States and Canada. And ain't nobody going to say nothing. Ha ha ha. And Zaddy ain't going to say nothing. Black people too stupid to say something. And Zaddy ain't going to say nothing because he the one gave me the money. Ha 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 ha. Let's move on to Stacy Abrams. Let's move on to Stacy Abrams. Are we ready to move on to Stacy Abrams? With her little unfortunate looking self? Do y'all realize that she just took a $1 million donation from George Soros to fund her gubernatorial run in Georgia? Do we know that? Do we know that? A couple of years ago, Miss Abrams was in debt. Now, she's got a net worth of about $3 million. Why is George Soros, he funded Black Lives Matter. Now he funding Stacy Abrams. Y'all think this is a mistake somehow? Do y'all think that these just, randomly, we just helping black people? No. Why are they funding Stacy Abrams? Why are they funding her? Why are they funding her? Because she gonna toe the same old party line that she been towing. That's why they funding her. That's why. Because she's a staunch abortion proponent. One moment, you guys. I'll be right back. My apologies, everybody. Anyway, let's get back to it. Let's get back to it. So, Miss Stacy Abrams. Thank you, Phillips. Unfortunately, a large majority of our peeps don't investigate anything. They move with emotion and hype crowd followers. Exactly. Thank you, Matrix. So black women was hailing. Do y'all remember when black women was like, yeah, Stacey Abrams, and she our hero because she helped flip Georgia into a blue state, right? And then she was hailed as some sort of political goddess for being able to do that. Article. Let me show y'all this. Stacey Abrams lands $1 million donation from George Soros. Stacey Abrams' campaign for Georgia governor is in line for a 7-figure fundraising boost, but it has to wait a bit for the check to clear. George Soros, the billionaire entrepreneur and philanthropist, is donating $1 million to Abrams' campaign, but she won't be able to spend any of the money until she's officially crowned as the Democratic nominee for the seat, reports Atlanta Journal-Constitution. The holdup is because of a new law that Georgia's GOP-controlled General Assembly passed last year that was designed to put current Governor Brian Kemp at an early fundraising advantage because of lawsuits from Abrams and Kemp's Republican primary challengers hasn't quite worked out that way. The new law allows candidates for certain offices in Georgia to set up so-called leadership committees, which are a special kind of political organization allowed to skirt the usual campaign fundraising limits and collect unlimited amounts from donors. As originally written, Kemp could immediately begin using his leadership because he's the gubernatorial incumbent. Abrams and others, including Kemp's top GOP challenger David Perdue, would have to wait until they officially won their party's primaries. The primary contests are scheduled for May 24th. Abrams sued, arguing that she's already the de facto Democratic nominee because she's running unopposed in the primary. Nice try. Nice try. She lost that lawsuit, but a federal judge also ruled that Kemp would have to wait to access his leadership committee funds too. Not gonna finish that one. I just needed to read that to you guys. We have to start understanding exactly what's going on with these people. Thank you, Phineas. So how can you be pro-black but promote a lifestyle that does not promote procreation? Precisely. 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 And we got Stacy Abrams over here. Wasn't she the same one on the own channel talking about black women was fat because of Trump? Please refresh my memory on that. It wasn't she the same person? Was she or was she not the same person that was on the own channel talking about black women was fat because of Trump? See, I rest my case. Anyway, this chick was broke. She wasn't running nothing. I'm going to read part of another article real quick. Real quick. I'm not even going to read the whole article to y'all. Stacy Abrams, this was posted May 3rd. Stacy Abrams got special treatment in office and even got wealthy on the taxpayer dime. Just 3 years after it was reported the taxpayers bailed out bad loans made by Stacy Abrams' financial technology company Now Corp, previously Now Account. So this lady had a failed technology company. The company that Abrams helped start managed to secure $29 million in new financing from a private equity firm in late 2021. See, this is the same thing that Goldman Sachs is doing, getting these failures of black women. See, interestingly, in 2018, Abrams' net worth was reported to be just $109,000. That was in 2018. However, just as Now Corp's fortunes change in 3 years, Abrams reported her net worth has increased to $3.17 million during that same period. While most media reports attributed Abrams' significant increase in net worth to speeches and advances for book projects, yeah, right. Her investment in Now Corp has received little attention, even though she still has a financial stake in the company. What happened with Now Corp while Abrams was serving as an elected official in the Georgia House of Representatives has been painstakingly pieced together by the Government Accountability Institute, where I serve as a distinguished fellow through the review of record requests and financial documents. Abrams, who's running for governor of Georgia again and who has openly acknowledged her plan to run for president by 2040, has been somewhat coy about her role in a sweetheart deal her company inked with the state of Georgia in 2013. I'm not even going to finish. Not finishing it just because of the sake of brevity. Just because of brevity. Exactly, Roderick. What book? What book? What speeches? I ain't known her to be no best-selling author. What book she got that accounts for $3.14 million in net worth all of a sudden over the course of about 3 years? How? How? Where they do that at? Again, she's a staunch supporter of baby deletions. She said on every level, I might do a video and show you that video. On every level, she said. So on every level, she is a staunch supporter of black women deleting their babies in utero. We lead in baby deletions. Being the smaller female demographic, we are leading in baby deletions. How? That don't make no sense. We just about 13% of the population, and that's all black people. That's not even just black women. But we're the majority of the women that go into these baby farms. Y'all are aware that they don't just get rid of them baby parts, right? Y'all realize that? You do know where stem cells come from, right? Where are they getting stem cells? Thank you, Joe Shaw. So I wonder if individuals from BLM were high under the bans off protesters this weekend. They supposed to come to my city. They harvest those fetuses, those remains. They don't throw them in the trash can. Do you think that's what they do with them? No, they send them to laboratories. They take those parts, they do stem cell research. They put it in your makeup and cosmetics. Forever have they been using our people for medical science. And they have been doing it by hook or by crook. And black women volunteer it. You volunteer it under rights. Oh, my rights. My right to go delete kids. And you don't know what they do. You don't care what they do with the fetal remains. Because you sure didn't take them home and dispose of them yourself. You think they're going to get rid of all of that those rich cells and rich blood? That's why they use them for stem cell research. It's perfect farming. It's farming. You will have the same uproar. You will have an uproar about them human trafficking for organs from black people. Oh, they killing people for organs. And you're giving them the organs because you're giving them babies. Because it's about genetic survival. Because we have stronger genetics than they do. And they've duped your stupid behind into giving them what they want. They don't even have to steal it. You'll come give it to them. They require dead babies, and you're supplying them with a smile on your face. And now that they're trying to save themselves by limiting women's reach to get abortions anywhere at any time, because they trying to survive, they got your stupid self standing somewhere arguing and protesting about how you need to be able to keep on doing it. And it ain't gonna do nothing but end up in, illegal ones. What is this, 1859? What is it, 1859 with y'all? I'm going to read y'all something. I'm going to read y'all a few paragraphs. Because we're going to start a petition about Black Lives Matter. I'm not letting it go. Told you we were not letting it go. Not just going to sit on the internet and rant about them. And I want y'all to listen carefully. Okay? Black Lives Matter, BLM as they are known, a Black-centric movement with political and social justice undertones, was formed in 2013 by 3 Black females. This project was built on the tragic killing of Trayvon Martin a year earlier and the lack of accountability and justice when his killer was acquitted for his murder. Right? Because George Zimmerman's still walking free. But Kevin Samuel's death was karma. Right? Right. Upon the continued killing of Black men, Michael Brown and Eric Garner, the movement gained national recognition and momentum. In 2020, immediately following the sickening and appalling killing of yet another Black man, George Floyd, BLM gained worldwide prominence and support. The organization continues to lead campaigns and rallies against police brutality and systemic racism against the Black community in America, but in reality, not benefiting the Black community. Currently, BLM has amassed over $90 million in 2020 alone, primarily from the killing of Black men and a few Black women. Yet, BLM positions themselves as advocates for the Black community without any Black men in leadership and without specific focus on combating violence against Black men. Further, as a global organization, one more, sorry. Further, as a global organization in the US, UK, and Canada, all of which share different experiences in the historical and contemporary treatment and dehumanizing of Black men and cannot be compared to the ADOS experience in the US, they seek to the brutal treatment of Black men together to eradicate white supremacy and build local power to intervene in violence inflicted on Black communities. This seems to be contradictory, disingenuous, deceptive, and dangerous. To date, BLM has garnered the support of corporations and people globally, resulting in over $90 million of funding and support. A significant amount of this money was used to purchase houses for the female founders, only for their personal gain, while the Black community continues to suffer and countless heterosexual Black men continue to die violently and prematurely. Outrageously, Black men's faces, experiences, and death have been used as bait for defrauding the masses. They collected money earmarked for helping victims' families for personal gain and diverted it for the advancement of the 3 Black female founders. Currently, there has been no positive change for Black community or Black men. This petition is a campaign against the self-serving actions of Black Lives Matter, which operate at the complete exclusion of Black men and without any genuine interest in the Black community and particularly the lives of Black men. This campaign is seeking change for, number 1, Black men to become part of the BLM leadership. Number 2, documentation that the money has gone to the people who were affected before BLM. And number 3, demonstration of accountability for where the $90 million went and ensure that it was disseminated to Black communities. We want 1 million signatures on change.org. I'm going to complete that petition and then I'm going to post it on my community tab so that everyone will be able to go to it, link to it, and put your signatures there, because we as a people have to start speaking out. It's not enough to just be downtrodden. It's not enough to just be like, oh, well, they a scam. They scammed us out of money. Oh, man, just another Black. We can't just keep, because this is why they keep doing it. This is why it keep happening, because we just be victims of it. We just understand that it's wrong, and then we're just victims of it. But then we don't we don't hold them accountable. We can't wait for the IRS or whatever to hold BLM accountable, because the IRS is not holding them accountable on the behalf of black people. The IRS trying to get they cut. That's all the IRS be doing. The only thing that the IRS is looking at, and the only reason why they would be prosecuted in any way, shape, or form by the United States is through the IRS because of tax evasion or tax fraud. That's it. They're not going to go to bat for black people. We got to go to bat. We have to make an example of Black Lives Matter organization, so that other organizations that want to make money and notoriety off of the backs of our dead brothers and sisters will think 2 or 3 times before they do that. And it won't just be a quick money grab off of the struggling black people, because not every dollar that came from a George Soros or from a corporation. That came from hardworking black people who believed in that, who believed in the slogan of Black Lives Matter, who wanted to tell the powers that be that we mattered. And then you got these scumbags. I don't know why the transparency wasn't enough. If you don't knock it off, you transparently bought the mansions. That's what we saw. If you had done anything that you were supposed to be doing with that money, we saw that. So that's what we're going to do, Crimsonites. As soon as I get that petition completed the way that we need it to be, I'm going to post it, inshallah, on the community tab, so that, and I'm going to remind everyone each live stream and each, video or what have you, to go to the petition, to sign it, to share it so that other people can sign it, because we have to do something. It's not good enough me being angry on this live stream. It's not. Because Patrice Cullors probably never hear it. But she'll hear it of 1 million signatures. She'll hear that. She'll have to hear that. So, on the back of that, y'all gotta pray for me now, because I need scrumph. We all need it, right? We got to get on our A game for this petition. We got to get on our A game. So how do we get on our A game? Because we got to be on our A game if we going to stand on these hyenas' necks like we got to. So what we need is to help our brothers be on their A game, okay? And how you join the A Game family is you click the link at the top of the chat, agameherbal.com, and please do not forget your 10% discount using the code Kendra10, because this is the spark of life, right? This helps black men bringing, their vitality, their energy, their strength, and their libido. Our men gonna need all of the help that they can get, okay? So we have to help them. Fellas, please don't wait. Ladies, please don't wait to get this for the men in your lives. Thank you for the super chats that I'm not reading right now. I'm sorry. I don't mean to miss them. Okay? So once again, link at the top of the chat, agameherbal.com. Please don't forget your 10% discount using the code Kendra10 at checkout. Okay? And I want to thank everyone for their awesome support. I really appreciate everyone coming through, giving me your time, giving me your likes, giving the contributions to the channel through Super Chat, through Cash App, through PayPal. I really appreciate it. And last but certainly not least, thank you to my support team, which is actually going to help put this petition together. We have a team, Dr. Michelle all of these wonderful people who are going to help us really get the wording and everything pinpointed the way that we need to and get this petition out so that you guys can sign it. Okay? So I want to thank you guys once again. I am going to sign off, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.
Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor, who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.